Hi everyone, David Maley here, and today we're going to go over something really cool. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you the Sankey Diagrams, which is right here, this cool thing right behind here, and customer migration. And this is one of the most fascinating and interesting data science ideas, concepts, or visualizations that you'll run into. And the reason being is it offers you a level of insight that you weren't previously able to see or experience. So what we're doing today is we're going to do this in Power BI. So right behind here right now you're looking at a dashboard that I've created. Obviously this is Quickie Mart, which is off of The Simpsons, but basically it is a local Quickie Mart type business. It's true data behind here. It's just made so that it's not proprietary. Okay, this is typical data that you would have from a campaign. Obviously, in this case, it's showing you the campaign was April to May. So if you look at this Sankey diagram down here, what this means is this is where the campaign was, April to May, and this is your pre-period, this is your post-period, right? So you can actually watch these customers, and there's customer groups, right? So you got 4 different customer groups: best, good, average, and low. So B means best, G means good, A means average, and L means low. So you can follow them through. Now, the only problem with Power BI is that it won't put the B always at the top. See how it goes to the bottom, then it goes here, and then it goes back to here. It does it based on weight through the whole chart. So I can't just make B always be at the top, but that's okay. As long as you have it labeled here, you can follow it through and see how the customers in the post period, what happened to them in the during period, right? So you have from the B, you had a lot of people that went here to A, so they dropped from best to average, and maybe from there a little bit to where they stayed the same, and then you have people that dropped or actually went to good. So basically, maybe what this campaign did was it lowered their basket a little bit. Maybe they bought more items but fewer items, and maybe that's what moved them from best to good and average and low. And then you can follow them through here. Well, the good ones, what'd they do? They went to average or they went to good, and you can see the different how thick these are is based on the values in them. So you'll see some like this one here is a really thin one. Same with this. Not a whole lot of people moved that way, but a lot of people moved in this one. So that's how you can visualize it for your executives and other people. Is this is the underpinnings. This is what the customer migration did by groups. You know, whether it be segmentation by quarterly like this of best, good, average, or low, or it could be something like you have them grouped into primaries, secondaries, and tertiaries. Your best shoppers, worst shoppers, things like most loyal shoppers. However you have it segmented, you could do that in here. So let me show you the data first that you're going to need to create this Sankey, and then we'll go into the Sankey. So if I pull up the data, here it is right here. I have a links, node source, and nodes target, right? So let's start with the links. Links, you're going to have a source column, right? A target column, and a value column. So what you have to understand here is that every single one of these guys back here, when I showed you the Sankey, every single one of these has a number to it, right? So if I were to go and just minimize this, this would be 0, 1, 2, 3. Then you go to the next group, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now they may not necessarily be in that order here because see how the B is down here, but this is going to be 4, 5, 6, 7. Then you have 8, 9, 10, 11. And then you have 12, 13, 14, 15, and that's how they go. So you have to see, so a 0 does not go back to a 0 or a 1 or a 2 or a 3. It goes to the next, which would be 4, right? So if I go back to this, you can see it in here too on the chart. That's why I have them there, but it's easier to see here. So if you see here, your source, you have 4 options, right? So the 0, which is this one, right, can go from a 0 to what? A 4, a 5, a 6, or a 7, right? So you got 0 to 4, 0 to 5, 0 to 6, 0 to 7. You need to have a value for each of those. Is it 10, 20, 30? What was it? How did it work? Okay, same thing here. This would be a 1, right? So 1, 2, same thing repeated again, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7. See how it's right there? Let me make it a little easier for you to see if I have that on here. Yep, we do right here. So let's bring this out. This will highlight it a little bit. There we go. So you can see where I'm talking about. Zeros, ones, twos. See how each one is, because I've got 4 breakouts in each one, right? I've got 4 best, good, average and low, right? So that's how that works. And we're breaking out from 0 to 4, 5, 6, 7. Now you'll see once you get through the 3s, look what happens. So 3 was 4, 5, 6, 7, but the next one starts here, not here, right? So 0, 1, 2, 3. 4 starts over here. It was one of these guys, right? So he starts at the next level because he goes to this. He links to the next one, which is 8, 9, 10, 11. See that? So 4, 8, 9, 10, 11. 5, 8, 9, 10, 11. See how that works? And so on, all the way until you hit 11. And it's not going to stop here at 15. It stops here at 15. Remember that? So because if it were to go here to 15, that would mean I'd have another row. And that's fine. You can do that. You could have another month out there and you keep going. So that's how this works, okay? So 0, and in this case, since I've got 4 breakouts, I've got 4 of them listed here for each one. See that? And then each one has to have the same thing as it goes through, all the way till the end where you have 12, 13, 14, 15, 12, 13, 14, 15, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, and then the different values associated with each. Now, if you want to get the actual values, it depends on your data, depends on your charts or whatever you're using. I don't know your data that you're looking at, so you'd have to get this for that. So how many people went from a good to a good over a month period, and you'd fill that in. And then this brings it and visualizes it in a great way. So that's what the links chart or links page is, right? That's the most important one right there. Then you're also going to have node source, and you're going to have the node's target. And the reason being is this gives you the labeling on it. See how the first one just has numbers, 0, 4. Is that really meaningful? It's going to be hard for executives to read that, hard for managers or directors to read that. They're not going to want to see a 0 and a 4 and highlight over and have to figure it out. They're going to want to see, like I have here, March 2018, April 2018. So to do that, what you do is you do a node source and a node's target. Once you fill out node source, node's target, it's easy. So what you do is you've got 0 through 15 because that's the number. Each one of those is your nodes, right? So you've got 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, right? And remember what we have is, in this case, since I have 4 of each, I'm picking a month. So I've got March as the first one, April's the second one, then May, and then June. See that? And then I've got next to it, so I know what it is, best, good, average, low. Best, good, average, low, best, good, average, low. Now when I go to the target starts, remember that? So this is the source. The next one's going to be the target, but the source can be a target. So in this case, you have a source for the next one, but this is the target for this one. It can be confusing, but what you do is, since I've got 4, the first 4 cannot be a target, right? We don't have data coming back. Now there is a case where you could have a Sankey that goes backwards. We're not doing that here, okay? So 0 through 3 are not going to be revisited again as a target. They're only sources. So when you do the target, see how they're not in there? 0 through 3 are gone. Starts at 4 through 15. So all you need to do, if you do this correctly, like I'm showing you here, you only copy out from 4 through 15 of this and put that in your nodes target, right? So that's the same thing as these, except we're missing the first 4 rows, right? See how it says name, same thing? Okay, so that's what you want to have. Once you have all that and you've got this done correctly, you're going to load it in. Obviously, you go get data, Excel, and select your different sheets, right? So if I were to select that sheet, I would hit Excel, and then it'll give me an option of which sheets to select. I'd pick links if I'm looking at links. I'd pick the nodes. The source nodes are the source target. Next, what we've got is, let's click on this. Since we've got that created, and you can also see it right here. I've got the links, the node source, and the node's target listed right here just as charts. Okay, those are simple charts. You click right here, and you can see right there. Table, chart, same thing. Okay, so next let's click on this, right? So if you look at this is the Sankey, which is right here. Okay, this is available for download through the Power BI thing. So you go here, you click on here, importing a custom visual, and then you type in search for the Sankey diagram. Okay, and you load that in. Once you've loaded that in, you have this option. You pull it out, create one, and this is what you're going to do. So now that I've created those, these are the exact sheets you just saw, right? Links, node source. I have a Z in front of it just so it goes to the bottom. This is another one I've done before. Don't worry about that one. Just worry about these guys. So you got links, node source, and nodes target, right? And just like you saw in there, you have the columns you need, name and name, right? You also have column 1 because that first column did not have a name to it. Remember that? So let's look at these two. See that? It doesn't have a name to it. We just need this one. That's all you need to have. Okay, for that, it'll get the rest. So what you do then is you've got source, target, value under links, column 1 name, and column 1 name under each of these two. What we need to do is here is we have to have the source. The source is going to be the source from your links file. So if we go back to links, either here, you see it right there, or we go back to here. This one is the one you want for that first one, okay? So that's your source, right? Then your destination is going to be what? The target. So if you go back to here, remember, so how we had this 0 to 4, 0 to 5, 0 to 6, 0 to 7, all of this. So you got your source and your target, right? Now skip these two. The value from right here goes right here. That was the value that you put next to it for each area, and that'll hook that up correctly. Then you just set this to be sum. Okay, if it's not, you need to have it sum, not count. It might go to count by default. Usually it does. So set it to sum. And then you have two name fields here. See that, right? So you got destination and source. Destination is going to be your target. Source is right here. That's this name comes and goes right there. And this name from the target goes right there. Once you have that set, it won't show correctly yet because of what? One thing, you need to manage your relationships. So if you look at this, let's pull that up. Here we go. Don't worry about the first two. That's for these guys that we're not looking at right now. Look at just these two right here. You need to have a linkage from link source, right? So you link in the source field to the node source, right? So if I click on this one, let's do that one. Let's just look at that, double click on it, and it'll pull it up. So I have here the links and the source, just like I showed you, right? And I'm using the source, and I'm adding that to the column. See that right here? So I'm using these two to join that together, many to one, okay, single. And you hit OK or cancel in this case because I already did it. And then we also do the same thing with target. So let's click on target here. Give it a second, there it is. And we're going from target to column. Okay, instead of source to column, target to column in this one. Same thing, many to one, single. If you don't do that correctly, what will happen is you won't have the correct linkage. So you can always go in here and go to here to see your data. There we go, and go across. Here's what we're looking at. Don't worry about those guys there. Look at these guys right here. This is what you want to see. So if I click on that, I want to see source to column 1 for node source, and I want to see target to column 1 for nodes target. And I want to see these guys going this way. See how they're going back towards the source and the target? I don't want them reversed. So if you were to click on this and you have it wrong, hit properties and make sure it goes the other way. See that? So if you click properties, give it a second. Should think here. Or there it goes. Okay, so you have to change this to change that direction if you need to, okay, which is in your relationship. So let's close that. That's fine. And let's go back to our Sankey. And you may have to look at your data type too, just to make sure it's correct. So if you have a text field that needs to be a number field, just make sure it's whole number or decimal number or whatever you need depending on your data. So once you have that all set and you have these guys all set, it then, based on this data, shows correctly like this. And that shows you the 4 months, March, April, May, June. So this is really cool because it shows you the effectiveness. Here's the campaign right here, is the pre, and here's the post I was showing you. These are just simple fields that show you tables that are going to show you. So if you click on this, you can see the values I put in there. All I do is put the values for each page straight in there so you could see exactly how I'm doing this. And it's just the same thing as looking at the Excel sheet. That's all. Now what I did over here is I've got a filter for month. So if I want to change this, let's say I don't want to see the pre and the post, I just want to see the during, right? So I could bring this closer, and I could bring this one closer, and watch what happens. Give it a second. It'll update. You know, and so we got 3 months there. We could bring it even a little bit closer maybe. There you go. Now you're down to 2 months. You got April and May. So we're missing March and June. See that? So if I wanted to zone in on just the campaign, I can do that right there. And that shows me that. I can go back and open it back up. or I can hit the erase, same thing. And that'll bring back, give it a second here, and it'll populate it back up. There it is again. Okay. I can also change the value range. Let's say I don't want to see anything below, I don't know, 20 or something. So let's go to 20. Let's see what that does. Give it a second. There it goes. Okay, see how it changes things? If I only, so I'm not picking any values less than 20. What if I pick, let's say 30? We have a 30. There we go. Let's see what that does. It's going to change your graph drastically. I could even bring it down and say I just want 30 to 40. What would that do? And you can see, you know, you can dive deeper into each month. Give it a second here and it'll populate it. There it goes. So you can see different outcomes. Maybe I just want to see the when I'm looking at the high range people, what happened to them overall. The people that spent more had higher values, or that month had higher values. So I can do all those things. It's really neat to do on the fly with a dashboard in Power BI. It's just really cool. Again, I just had 3 pieces of data, right? The links sheet, the nodes sheet, and the target sheet. The node source and nodes target. That's these guys, okay? The links, which is 0, being that I've got 4 coming across. I've got 4 groups. Remember that: best, good, average, and low. So I've got 0, 0, 0, right, to 4, 5, 6, 7. Remember, 4, 5, 6, 7 is the next group. Then I start with the next one. So 0 to 1. 1 is here. And then 4, 5, 6, 7 again. Then we got 2, right? Remember, 0, 1, 2, 3, right? 0, 1, 2 does the same thing. 3 does the same thing. Once we get to 4, 4 is not here. In this case, 4 is here. Well, it may not be that one. It's one of these guys here. So 4 then goes, because it's here, goes to the next one over here. See how it works? So the next group over here starts at 8, 9, 10, and 11. So that's how it goes: 4 to 8, 9, 10, 11, 5 to 8, 9, 10, 11, 6 to 8, 9, 10, 11, 7 to 8, 9, 10, 8, 9, and then you got, once you get to 7, then 8 will be the next one, right? Because 8 is the next group here, and then we're going to here. So it goes 8 to 12, 13, 14, 15, which are the last 4, and you go all the way down until what? 8, 9, 10, and the last one over here is 11, right? And the last one over there is 15. So that's how that works. And then your values again are this last column over here. Your node source is again going to be this. You want to label it so that you can see that. You don't have to have these two, the node source and the node's target, but it will just show you as label as 0, 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and so on. And it'd be kind of ugly to look at. You really can't tell. So by doing this node source and node's target like this, you can actually read this and say, oh, here's March, here's April, this is best, this is good, this is low, this is May, this is June, so on. Okay, if you don't do that, you won't be able to read that. Okay, that's how you do that. And again, the easiest way to do this is if you have 4, like I've got here, 4 groupings, then you've got 0 through 3, right? And then what you do is you take 4 through 15, right? And look at this. If I were to copy that and go to my target, look at that, 4 through 15. Boom. So once I've made this one, it's very easy to make this one. Okay? Same column names and stuff like that, and you're good to go. So that's all it is. You need to have those three sheets. You got to have your values of what they are for each, you know, how many you want from good to best, how many you want from these guys, and so on along. You need to have this information here. Now, if you need a process that does that, I've got one in R already up on the web, another video, but that's basically how you do this, and it comes out with a really cool Sankey diagram that gives you a lot of neat information on it. Like you can say, oh, well, how did the good group here develop to become so much bigger than here? A bunch of these people went from, well, that is good, and they went from good and stayed there. Okay, but you did add some of these. This is the kicker. This is where the power of that campaign was. You took a bunch of the low customers, right, and you moved them right here to good. So remember, so low moved up. So they moved up 2 categories. So that's a big thing that executives and managers and directors would want to see. They'd be, oh, that was a very effective campaign. And then you'd want to see permanence, right? So here's good here. What does good do here? Oh, it shrinks. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, because maybe some of those good ones, if you follow this band right here, go to become best. See that? And others, so maybe these average guys, some of them go to be best. So maybe this campaign had multiple mailings or different coupons with it, and so maybe this series at the beginning, if there was one, might have been more effective at growing the good group from average and low. As you can see, these big bands going in there. And then maybe this group had, I don't know, a bigger low group or a bigger, it has a bigger B group right here, the best group. So maybe this campaign was just very effective at getting average into and good into being best. So, and then you look at it afterwards. How strong was afterwards? Well, the best is still about the size of this, and it's bigger than this. So this had good permanence to it, depending on how you look at it. So it's a great way. The Sankey diagram is a great way of showing your data in a new way that people can play with and say, oh, look, here's the value for it. It's 25 at that point. It could be $25. It could be 25 items. It depends on the data you're looking at. But it's just really cool to be able to do that and to be able to, say I want to select only 3 months. I want to see, here's April. I took out March. So I got April, May, and June. I have the option. I can go down to this. I can go down and say, let's look at that, or maybe even narrow it down a little bit more. Maybe even narrow it down a little bit more. Let's do that. There you go. Now you're down to 2 months. See that? So you can play with it, see what your data shows you, where the impacts are, and it's just really cool to be able to do this. This is a cool dashboard that was created in minutes once you have the data correct in the correct format. So the links, source, and target. I hope you found this interesting and informational. Thanks again for watching. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share, and have a great day.